So, this is January 2nd of 2016. Excuse me. In the last video entry I did, I talked a little bit about my miscarriage, about my fiance, and how lost and hurt I was. I was hurt deeply. Um, I thought I was going to be a mom. I thought I was going to be someone's wife. I thought a lot of things. I thought a lot of things, but they didn't happen. And for sake of argument or whatever, hindsight being 2020, things happened the way they happened for a reason. And I believe that too. It was definitely something out of my control. I could not have prevented that miscarriage from happening, no matter how much I wanted to. But sad to say, but I mean, in some small way, it was a blessing in disguise that I didn't have this baby with that person, you know. I mean, I always have told people that when I'm in a relationship with, if you find that, you lost interest in me or you don't love me anymore for some reason, I don't want to be the reason that's holding you back because of whatever obligation you may have. I think everyone deserves to be happy, and no matter how hard the truth can be, I would rather know than not know and live in this fantasy world of what I think is happiness. Anyway, back to the story. So I had the miscarriage, and I had it by myself. And at the end of the day, at the end of that hospital visit, I drove home, took a shower, cleaned my car real quick, and avoided seeing my fiance pretty much that whole day until I came home that night. After I came home and took a shower and cleaned up, I called my best friend, who I love to the moon and back. She's family to me. She's a very important person, one of the few important people in my life that I hold very dear to my heart. She's like a sister, so she's definitely family. Anyway, I called her up, and before I even made it to the hospital, she already knew what was going on. She had other things that she was doing at the time and couldn't be there for me. And that was tough. But, you know, she was there for me after, when I left the hospital. She was there for me, when I needed her. She was there. I went to her house. I spent time with her. And my newborn godson. And she held me, and I cried. I cried for a good while. I cried, and she held me, and she comforted me. She had never personally gone through that, but, she was there. She was my rock. When I needed my fiance, she was my rock. And for those of you who have a best friend like that, that is definitely a friend you want to keep till the end, because if they can't handle you at your worst, they can't handle you at your best either. So the fact that she was there for me and she stood up was like, wow. Which was awesome, because I needed something. I needed someone. I needed to know that I'm not completely alone, even though I went through that kind of experience alone. And after that day, um, after that day, uh, actually a couple of days after that day, I was, in every sense of the word, numb. I, the only thing I did was cry. And I was very sad and I was very depressed and I felt empty. Like I said, I felt empty. Um, I, I went through it alone. I was angry. I was hurt. I was, in a way, I felt like, I was a little bit betrayed, because how can you go 1 minute thinking you're going to spend the rest of your life with this person, that this person's always going to have your back and always be by your side, and when real shit hit the fan, where was he? He was at work. He made his choice. I don't hate him anymore for it. I'm not bitter. I'm not anything really. After some time, I learned to heal, and I'll get to that. Um, but doing that by myself and going through it by myself and everything taught me some form of independence as far as relationships go. I had to make choices by myself. I had to do a lot of things by myself, and I thought I was going to make them with him. I mean, that's what you do when you're in a couple and in a marriage and everything. Anyway, he, I mean, after a couple of days of me, going through the motions of whatever I was going through, uh, he then, we got into an argument about something, and it ended up going to the miscarriage. And at the end of it all, he was asking, you didn't stop to ask how I feel about it, and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, at that point in time, I was really upset and angry that he even said that, because I'm not trying to play the he said, she said thing, but, he never asked me how I was feeling or how I was doing, or, his actions spoke a lot louder than his words at that point. Not saying I didn't love him any less or anything like that, just, my perception of him changed after that. And so did our engagement, which ended, actually. I want to say probably a week after everything that happened. I couldn't be where we were living. I couldn't function, and I needed to get out. And it was gonna start as a break, but then it ended up to being a breakup. And I called my best friend and asked her if I could crash on her couch until I found a place. And I was fortunate enough that, she let me crash on her couch for a time. And on that note, um, I'll leave you and till next episode.